Hello everybody, welcome back to SummoNerds. I'm Evan.
And I'm Matt.
Today we've got another game in our challenge series. I don't remember specifically who recommended this, so I'm sorry for not looking that up before I did this video, but somebody on the forum recommended that we do a game between Selundar and Mugglug. Just Mugglug against someone like maybe Sneaks or Selundar, someone with Matt pretended to get mad because he didn't get to go first. Someone like Mugglug versus someone, or specifically Mugglug versus someone with low life units like Selundar, because it can be difficult for Selundar to send up his units, and he has a bunch of small units, but they all die quickly and just multiply the swamp really quickly.
Right, and then the swamp chokes off for the fast-moving units.
Yes.
Strike. So that, yeah.
And all these low life units just kind of fuel the swamp.
Hey, they're not low life.
Oh no. But yeah, so specifically the matchup that was requested was Selundar and Mugglug, but I think this applies to maybe Sneaks a little bit too, or anyone else with a lot of underprivileged units, Matt. A lot of low HP units.
Thank you.
There we go. So Matt's playing Selundar, I'm playing Mugglug.
So they're stalking advance, shadows.
There we go.
A wall, and
another shadows. Yeah, you had two shadows.
Yeah, it's
wall,
two
stalking
shadows.
Advance. There we go. And a unit I missed.
Yeah.
I think. There we go.
I had a shadow. Is what it was.
Oh,
that's why.
Gotcha.
Shadows.
So you have two shadows, one shadow.
Yeah. Now I live on a chateau.
Oh.
Chateau.
And you live on top of your chateau.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, my Savager did not scare away the Swordsman #1, and he failed also on the second one.
So that one was like a little more nervous about attacking, but he's still fine. He's committed.
More scared of Selundar than anything, really. So, all right, Matt's pushing up quick with an aggressive opening. And missed 2 on the Savager.
Yeah,
that's
not an ideal.
All right, and I got one more.
One. Yeah, so 1 out of 4. That's okay.
Yeah. Considering you're probably supposed to lose one of the swordsmen, it's not the worst thing, I guess, but it certainly wasn't great.
Right.
Once you didn't lose those swordsmen, you're supposed to kill that Savager. I really like moving up the Savager to that position in a couple matchups with the Swamp Orcs. I feel like forcing your opponent to either throw units at the Savager that might have Fear activate, or slowly losing their wall to 3 attack dice at a time is just a nice.
Yeah, no, I like that.
Play.
I like that too. I actually also, if I get the opportunity, get the Savager in that spot, as well as a unit summoned off that wall, and then the Savager can attack that, produce a Vine Wall, and then if the Savager goes down, it makes
there's a Vine Wall too. Yeah, exactly. That's so I had a Vine Growth and Ambush, a couple Swamp Rats, and Prong.
Yeah, Swamp Rats are amazing units.
Yeah, we are. I know that where people generally struggle, and that this is one of the big things, is that a lot of the matchups that are requested of us are matchups that are difficult on the Summoner Wars app for the iPhone and for Android. And what's difficult about that is that on the app, there are significantly fewer factions, not factions necessarily, but summoners available, and a lot of the reinforcements are missing. So you just have a lot less cards to build with. None of the alliances are on there. None of the second summoners are on there. So for Mugglug and for Selundar, we got to build in a whole bunch of new things. So it's possible that this is a difficult matchup on the app, though I know I've beaten it both ways. It can definitely be done.
Oh, definitely.
But it's way less difficult now, just like Sneaks versus Grognak or something like that. Like you can build these decks in new ways that are just superior to how they used to be. The Alliances has really helped balance the game a lot in some of these matchups.
Right. I mean, the Jungle Shadows deck, just fantastic units for Selundar to choose from now.
Yeah.
Not that he was ever weak before. He has Summon the Night is what I think is one of the best events in the game. very beneficial.
Yeah, Summon the Night is probably one of the best in the game. Into Darkness is, of course,
Yeah.
really...
Into Darkness against certain factions is just devastating.
It can be. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Some you don't need to Into Darkness at all. Like, it doesn't necessarily always do you any good to Into Darkness away, like Takulu or something, so you can magic drain you easier.
But it's really nice to Into Darkness, like Red Talus.
Oh yeah, yeah,
that's big, because he requires his units to protect him in close proximity to himself. All right, so Matt's going full aggression here.
Yeah, so I'm gonna just wail on everything.
Yeah, I got that wall out with the vine growth, which is good. So now, like Matt was talking about, instead of pulling a unit out and killing it, I used a vine growth to do the same thing. So now I've got several units next to a next to a vine wall.
It's raining die, it looked like, but yeah. So that Savager is now a vine wall, but it is dead.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to kill that swamp rat. It's also a vine wall, unfortunately.
So Matt's doing a nice job of building my swamp for me.
Right.
But getting rid of my units.
Clearing out those units.
Yeah.
That's fine.
And
I'm making a nice, healthy pile of magic doing it too. So
yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Which is great to do as Selundar. So all right, I'm going to show my hand here, I believe, and we'll see what I'm about to do with Mugglug. I do have Prong as a real cheap champion that I could throw out there. Yeah, there we go. Prong, Ambush, Ensnare. Ensnare's big.
Ensnare is
Shaman and a Vine Guard. So I could use... I actually don't know if I have enough magic to use Prong right at this very minute. I could use them right now, but I don't necessarily need to.
Yeah, I don't think you have 4 magic just yet.
I don't think I do quite yet either. But I have enough for that Shaman. The ambush or the Ensnare would be great, but I don't know if this is the time I need it the most. And usually that card is, you only have 2 of those, and they're so valuable. I like to hold on to them a little bit. So what I did was I used a Shaman, and I think I might have left it at that. Yeah, I might have left it at that. One of my units would have the Vine Guard already. One of my units would have the Ambush already. So playing either of those cards felt unnecessary.
Right.
Because now the Shaman has the Guard activated, the Hunter has the Ambush kind of ability activated, the Vine Mancer Ambush. So, and then I'm moving up Mugglug because he's a beast all in his own right. He doesn't really need... I missed the Swordsman.
Yeah, I like that.
And then I'm going to attack with the Hunter on the other Swordsman. I'm going to move up Mugglug, though, because I was hoping to get that Vine Wall off of that onto that Swordsman and deny you the chance of hitting Mugglug unless you used an event to help you. But in any case, yeah, I've got a decent little position here. And again, Mugglug can fight his own battles. He's kind of like a heavy champion in the beginning. So, yeah, I think I dropped one of my events, probably Ambush, I'm guessing. I honestly love Vine Guard, especially with Mugglug, to help Mugglug out of a tight spot in the mid to late game. And Ambush is, of course, valuable, but I typically find Vine Guard is more valuable because there are a lot of champions in the Swamp Orcs, Swamp Mercenaries that have high attack already. You don't really need Ambush to generate high attack, but there's no other way of giving yourself better odds on the defensive. So Vine Guard is real useful for Mugglug.
I think Vine Guard is a very, very good event. Probably underused in our initial games. I probably was discarding Vine Guard like it was my job.
Yeah, and thinking Ambush was the key play. And Snare also is usually used just to grab ourselves some magic from the opponent's middle row or something, not to open up the spaces for the clever movement play.
Right. So my idea here is I just want to I could potentially end this quickly if I had the right stuff drawn. I could get. Right now, I can't take advantage of Selundar's ability because I started right next to a Shaman. If certain things had played out differently as possible, I could have just run up, whacked Mugglug for a bunch of die. So I'm just keeping that as an option open. It wasn't like my end game by any means. It was just like an option. I don't think Selundar. I have some escape mechanisms I can employ if it gets too.
Yeah, some of the Knights and Stalking Advance makes it really easy for Selundar to run away when he needs to.
Yeah, obviously if I got Vine Growth and had some had the 50% just didn't go my way, it would have been a bit more of an issue. So I am, because of the way it was presented, I am turning back here, but I'm taking a cheap shot on Mugglug real quick just to get his health down a little bit for the late game.
And he did hit the Shaman there, so that was good. Good for him. Mugglug is, fine, but I do have to get rid of that Swordsman because the Shadow Elves have other hunters that can summon off of other units. I don't want that problem to multiply later.
Right.
So I do have to take care of it by killing the Swordsman this turn.
I only have one more Shadows at this point, I think, because I played both of them earlier.
Yeah, so that's a good way to get your magic in the beginning and deny me that opening magic, because I should have had enough for Prong maybe last turn if those Shadows hadn't been played. Yeah, I think you did play both of them last turn.
Yeah, I mean, if I've lost 2 units, which I have, I've played both of them. So
yeah, there's really no reason to hold on to Shadows that I can think of. The earlier you play those, generally the better, because you everything in the game, I think, in any game, I think, that I've ever played, the opening is the most important piece of the game because it sets up the rest of the game. And with a really poor opening, you're trying to come back the whole time, and it's very difficult. You can have a great end game, but if you messed up in the opening, you might not get to the end game.
Right.
So if you can deny your opponent magic early with those Shadows, I just think it's better to do that. I can't think of a single situation in which I'd keep a Shadows.
Right.
It also frees up your hand.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just something for most games, though, that I think is something that I'd like to stress for us, that openings are so key. Be mindful about them, and don't just take an opening move. Take the best opening move, and the best 3 opening moves,
Like that game where I was Jungle Shadows and I took out all of those Fallen Phoenix commons.
That was in turn 3 or 4, and that was effectively the game right there. I couldn't come back.
Yeah.
So what I've done here is I've got Prong up there. I used a Vine Growth to get that Vine Wall so that he's protected if I want to use his ability. He rolled well on Selundar.
Yeah, so I took a big 3 hits there. So now I'm only alien level in health at this point.
I've got Mugglug there on the side. He took care of his own little problem. And if Matt wanted to swing around the side with Selundar or a Hunter even at the worst and attack Mugglug, I'd be fine with that. Because if he's pulling around Selundar, it just means I get to take some more punches at Selundar. And if he's putting down a Hunter, I've still got a ton of health left, so I can take 1 more hit. But he'd be paying 2 magic and losing a Hunter in the process. So I feel like it's all right to tease him with my Summoner. Even good players will sometimes, if they see a Summoner in the open, they can't help but take a shot at him. And if it's not a good time to take the shot at him, oh, I saw Gargos.
Gargos and the Hydrake are in my hand.
That's a hand.
So at this point, I had Stalking Advance, Summon the Knight into Darkness, I think, and then the 2 champions.
The 2 champions. What a hand.
So I'm Stalking Advanced. I'm using Stalking Advanced right now so that I can get away from Prong. Because I can't. There's no point attacking him.
Yep.
I can't kill him anyway. So he's just going to take the wounds most likely.
Yep.
And even if he took the Vine Wall, I did nothing that turn. So then Selundar just gets wailed on the next turn. I can't afford that at this point. So I have to just take a turn and run away. So I wasn't able to. That was essentially just a winning turn for Evan because I had to play one of my good events, and I couldn't retaliate on his champion in any way. So.
And it was used completely defensively, which was a great use of that. I mean, you did exactly the right play. That's what you had to do to get out of there. Because again, if he'd stayed there and attacked Prong, he wouldn't have killed Prong, and I would have had a bunch of hits on his Summoner, or whatever card he put in front of his Summoner. I would have just killed that. So it wasn't there wasn't anything better he could have done.
Yeah. So here I am trying to kill my own units just for a little bit more magic.
Yep.
I'm trying to get up to 8.
Yep.
So I can get the Hydrake out. And I missed every attack on my units, so I
4 in a row.
Yeah.
So now you have.
I'm pretty sure I had 5 magic, so I didn't even have enough for Gargos, which means I think I'm either did have 6 and I'm not going to discard, or I discard the Into Darkness.
Yeah, you might discard in a second. I can't remember. But I do remember there was one turn in this game where it took you a while to discard, and it was after I'd kind of drawn. But again, that's one of those things that we kind of typically allow as long as I haven't, as long as Matt hasn't really gleaned anything from my hand, or like I don't think any foul play's gone on. It's fine, you know.
Like in this situation, if Evan had summoned something, then I would absolutely just not discard something because I can't retaliate. So I didn't discard.
Yeah, there we go. Might have been the next turn. There was a turn where it took a while for the discard to go down, but yeah. So I've got a rogue. I like rogues in Glurblub's deck a lot, which you've seen when I played him, but I don't know how I feel about them as much in Mugglugs. They're not quite as good because you don't typically have quite as many forward walls as with Glurblub, where it's real easy to get forward walls. But yeah, there's like my last Vine Growth got played there. But I don't think rogues are bad, and they, at the very least, they're a cheap common that can just be killed for a Vine Wall space, which is what I might do to my rogue here. I'm pretty sure I do actually just kill it. I would always rather have like a Swamp Rat or an Apprentice Mage for that, but Swamp Rats and Apprentice Mages don't have the ability to get 3 attack dice quickly and easily.
Right.
So
there's another Vine Wall. And so because I wasn't able to generate the 8 magic I wanted that last turn, I could just take another turn, kill everything, get the Hydrake out.
Yeah.
But I'm starting to run out of summoning points.
Yep.
So it's a big deal that I need to get something out that can deal out some damage here and take a hit. Because I'm running out of space to run Selundar. So let's see just what's behind door number 1.
Yeah, this is good. Because I've got myself in a decent little position. I can hit his walls. Prong is pretty safe. My Hunter isn't safe, but it doesn't matter if he is or not, because it's just a common. And I've got most of his summoning points choked off. Like you said, he's only got 4 places he can summon right now on his 2 walls, so I can summon all over.
Yep.
And my summoner has less wounds than him right now, so I feel like I'm in a reasonable position, although you have more magic than me.
So I'm not summoning this turn.
Yeah, you're getting a little
so
closer.
I must have not. Yeah, I must have had the 5 magic like I thought. I think.
All right, and you're thinking about where to move. There we go.
Big S.
I don't think this is where you keep them. And I was kind of curious, actually. I think I left this in here this way so that you could explain maybe why this was not the move you decided on. Okay. I can summon off of off of the front of Prong there because I've got a Vine Wall.
Yep.
Is that why you don't keep them there? You don't want me to take another shot at Selundar from?
Well, I'm trying to. I don't remember where I moved them, so I have to explain.
Yeah. Oh, you forgot to show your hand.
I think I did show. I'm pretty sure I did show my hand and thought I didn't.
You're
so
right.
I showed it again.
Oh, you look like you have a decent bit of magic there.
Yeah, so maybe I was getting confused. Maybe I do summon this turn. We'll find out. It's just as exciting for me as it is for anybody else.
It's just like we're watching it again for the first time. Matt was asleep playing. That's why he doesn't remember the game.
Yeah.
No, I actually don't remember exactly what he did this turn either. I remember the basic outline of the game, but not. And I've watched it again since then because I had to edit the video. So, we're thinking. So yeah, I've used all my vine growths, so my swamp can only be built on units now, which is kind of important to note for me. And that looks like 6. Yeah,
that's I thought for sure I was summoning this turn because I remember thinking I'm running out of summon points.
Yeah.
So, and it did happen. Then I started moving. I was getting all confused. Those are my excuses.
So you decided against your original move in favor of, there we go, this, where I can still summon off of that farthest to the bottom of the screen summoning point, closest to us, or closest to the viewer, I guess. We're at the top of the screen, but down at the bottom there, I can still summon off of that and hit Selundar if I want to, but only with a ranged attack, and most of the ranged commons that I could use for that ability would only have one attack, so it's not.
Right, I'm not worried
Not
about
super
one
scary.
attack die hitting Selundar.
You got my hunter, you got the wall under
Especially
Gargos.
if it's costing you magic to play something. So.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
so
you got your own unit there.
Yep. I was able to kill that hunter. Killed the vine wall under Gargos. So
Yeah, it was a good turn. You picked a good spot for Selundar to be. He's forward enough that he could make an attack if he needed to, but he's safe where he is relatively.
right, and it's key that the vine growths have all been played, so I
Yes.
never have to worry about anything like a vine growth being placed under Selundar if he gets too crazy.
Yeah, and that's a big thing. Once Mugglug runs out of Vine Growth, he really does lose a lot of plays. Vine Guard, Ensnare, Savager, Glarg, Rogue. And that's nice to know when you're playing against Mugglug that your opponent's used all the Vine Growths. So sometimes keeping a Vine Growth in your hand for a little while is decent to discourage your opponent from making certain moves. It's the threat of the Vine Growth.
Yeah, especially against a team like the Guild Dwarves who bashes them all down.
But
Besiege the walls.
But I'm happy with the way I played them because I was able to quickly choke off some summoning points. So Mugglug and Prong go for Gargos here. I think I played a Vine Guard, if I saw that correctly.
Yeah, I think so too. So
All right. So yeah. So I'm thinking the worst thing that could happen is he
Vine Guard.
flies over with Gargos and hits me from behind, and then moves up with Selundar, and that's 7 dice to hit 6
with
guarded
Gargos.
dice. Yeah. So I like.
And well, I was gonna say the I was actually thinking about doing that, except there are 2 reasons. One, any sort of ambush gives you great odds to just kill Selundar.
Yeah, that was the key.
You have odds without it to kill Selundar
Yep.
if you're going for it. That would be kind of an all-in game. But I noticed also, if it got dicey for Mugglug, you could just run on those 2 vine walls.
Yep.
That way.
So yeah, pretty much
that way.
that way.
Yeah.
That I can run away over the vine walls, which kind of saves me. Summon the night,
Summon
shadows,
the night.
darkness. There we go. So yeah,
Hydrake.
again, I'm trying to lure Selundar in, to just encourage him to play that one move that will give me the chance to win. Matt's seen that strategy many times before, so he's not. but I like that play because I'm getting to use Selundar like a big tanky champion kind of like unit that he is. Mugglug, did I say Selundar? I'm getting to use Mugglug like the big tanky kind of champion thing that he is. Prong is up there doing his thing. He's still surrounded by a ton of iron walls, so any move against Prong is pretty much futile.
It's just not viable for me to attack Prong right now at all.
Which is great. Prong for 4 cost gives you 3 attack, and he's basically invincible. If he's in a sea of vine walls, it's almost less profitable for your opponent to deal with him at all.
Right. I mean, unless I was in a bit of a better position and it would just benefit me to have him kill his own vine walls to protect Prong.
Yeah. Or to just surround Prong and whack him with a whole bunch of things at once just to kill him in one turn.
Yep.
But I like that Prong, his ability deters people from even attacking him sometimes. So he's great to have. I almost put Turt in this deck, and I like Turt a lot, but he has no synergy with Mugglug. He doesn't do anything special for Mugglug's deck. He's just powerful.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of synergy wise is just how Mugglug's walls typically tend to go. He can get up there, you know.
Yeah. All right, so we got a couple units go down, or a unit goes down. A unit goes down. There we go. Swordsman.
Unit.
Thought you were gonna put one more down. Oh, Summon the Night.
Mm-hmm.
That was great.
Yep.
So now you can do anything you want, and I can't probably reach you.
Yep. So
there we go. There we go. And you're just gonna leave Selundar where he is. He can take a hit.
yeah, he can take 1 hit. I mean, if he wants to move in with, somebody, maybe Prong moves in, like he can take that for sure.
Unless I have an ambush.
guess an ambush,
and I hit all 4.
100%.
Yeah.
That's 100. I don't know what I was.
No, I could have if I hit 100% of my die.
Yeah, 20% chance
Yeah.
to win with that.
So that's not good odds. So you're relatively safe where you are, just as I'm kind of relatively safe this turn from taking too many wounds. But you're running around behind me there in a kind of a scary way.
Right.
So
that's
2 there
2
on
on
Mugglug.
Mugglug.
And we'll see what Selundar does. And then he's going to fly. There we go. Gargos
Oh
flies
yeah,
away.
I was wondering. I was like, why am I losing Gargos like this? But no, of course I'm not. I'm attacking and using his ability to get out of there, so I can easily get to Mugglug again next turn. Was
Yeah.
the idea.
But so I'm not able to easily kill Gargos.
Yeah. So Selundar didn't get it, but that's fine. I got 2 like I was supposed to from all those die.
If he hadn't moved Gargos, the likely play for me would have just been whack him with Mugglug and kill him next turn, and move Prong in front of Mugglug from the front. I would have prevented him from being able to hit me from the front, and created a Divine Wall behind me with his most powerful unit on the board.
Yeah.
So it's good that he flew away with him. Live to fight another day. And Gargos can fly over the walls, everything so easily. It's good to. It's easy to use him as an attacking unit. So I've got Glarg there still, ambush, wall, Mick Tusk, and a Swamp Rat.
Yep. So yeah, I've actually kind of evened this position out a little bit. I was able to make an offensive play as well as protecting myself in the same turn.
We've both got the same number of wounds on ourselves now.
Mm-hmm.
Same number of life left.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know if I think you are out of Vine Guards because I think you did discard one.
Yeah, I think I did too.
Because I think I was checking the discard pile.
I think I discarded one early, maybe. But and you have more units on the board than me, and but my champion has 1 more health than yours, so and can live a little longer because of those walls.
Yep.
So it's a pretty even position right now. But that was key. I kept Mugglug from being able to run back because I was keeping that open so that he could run away, but not anymore.
But he can still run across those vines, so
Yeah.
it's okay.
So I'm going to move Prong off of that vine wall. He gets ambushed. Swamp Rat's going to move over. I didn't think about this, but if I had moved that Swamp Rat all the way over, I would have had 5 to hit 4.
You couldn't move it all the way. It's
Summon the Knight. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's good. I'm glad. I was like, why didn't I do that? Maybe that would have been just better. I wanted to block off that summoning point. Honestly, that still might be a better play. 5 to hit 4 isn't great odds.
Well, if you were able to move the Swamp Rat, it probably would have been better just because Selundar has no chance of running away.
That's true because he can't run backwards.
Into darkness.
So I hit 2 there.
Yeah.
That was good. Selundar's weakened a little more, and my Swamp Rat is blocking him from being able to summon anything behind to help out. I'm going to attack the wall, and then actually what I'm going to do is, no, I'm just going to leave him there. I thought I was going to move him with his ability, but I didn't. I was wrong.
Blocks off my summon point.
Yeah. I mean, that was the original reason of moving him there, because he's probably just going to get killed next turn.
Yeah.
There's not a great benefit to me for summoning him and then just letting you kill him, but next turn, that's 1 less place you can summon from to save yourself. Shut up.
Just kidding.
Not in front of our audience. Sorry, we've got Matt taking a second here to figure out this turn. Because he didn't expect that wall to go down. If he'd had a stalking advance, what he could have done was he could move Gargos 1 space backwards towards his back side of the board and then fly a Gargos over.
Yeah.
And so, but I was thinking to myself that I'm just hoping that he doesn't have that card in his hand.
Yeah. That wouldn't really help me because I can't kill Mugglug.
No, you could you give him another beating though, and then you could fly away with him just as easily.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess if that's your last use of stalking advance, maybe that's not worth it.
Yeah.
But it would be 1 more way to hit Mugglug with 3 dice, or just kill Prong. You might have a shot at Prong, not killing maybe, because unless you hit. No, you can't kill him.
Yeah.
You can't kill him because you can't use Selundar's ability.
But I had a shadow in my hand.
Yeah. Yeah, shadows. The plural of shadow are cool. They're really nice to have.
Yeah.
They can just be a mess, especially late game. I think they have a place in the late game of both Melundak and Selundar. And maybe even in Nikuyana.
Actually, no, Nikuyana is also great for the shadows.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just great in every deck.
Yeah, no, I think they're just good. Yeah, they're even decent in Abo, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Give them Chant of Growth and stuff. Alright, so what he ends up doing is just kind of moving Selundar out of there. Summon the Knight again. So I can't get around all the way to follow him. So if I move Prong up next turn, it's away from Vine Walls. So I'm inviting Matt to take swings at Prong, if that's the case. He does kill my Swamp Rat there.
Yep.
Alright, so let's see what I do. Oh, no, he's still swinging.
Well, I had to attack my wall,
Killing
so
your
I
walls.
could move
Yeah.
Gargos.
There we go. Oh, so you didn't use Summon the Knight?
No, Summon the Knight was not used that.
Okay, I thought you used that turn. I'm sorry. You still have one, right? No,
Yep.
Yeah.
I have awesome and the
Awesome.
Knight.
Yeah, okay, so you used your ability with Gargos there to throw him in front of Selundar. That was a good play. Probably sacrificing Gargos,
Right.
but you save your summoner, which is obviously the goal. And you, if I run Prong up next to Gargos there, I might take out his champion, but probably at the expense of my own.
Right. I mean, Gargos is more expensive than Prong, and Prong's already served his cost, so it's still an economic loss for me.
Well, yes and no. Gargos has arguably served his cost too.
No, it's true because he's
got some hits on.
He forced a wall play in a particular spot, and he got some hits on Mugglug.
He also forced a Vine Guard, and Prong has yet to take a hit. So Prong is like you're taking out a full Prong and trading in your used champion for my new.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's not a total wash for you. I'd say that's about an even loss. But he's giving me the choice of making an even trade champion for champion. And I have no way of hitting the summoner in the meantime. So yeah, I'm looking through his discard here real fast. I want to see what he's played. It's always a great thing. Take the time to check your opponent's discard every game. Anytime you have a question, don't think you remember. Just remember. Just check it.
Just remember.
Just remember for sure. It's always worth it. Because
definitely,
chances are there's something in there that's new since the last time you looked, and it's nice to know. Oh, they dropped a champion. It's one less thing to deal with. That card's not going to be in there anymore. So I go ahead and pay for Mick the Tusk. Mostly to get him out of my hand, and also just I'm thinking here Prong might die. And if Prong dies, then I want another champion to fill his spot. Mick is cheap, cheaper than Glarg, and with all of those, or not cheaper, same price as Glarg is what I meant to say. And with all those Vine Walls around, he's stronger than Glarg. So there we go.
So yeah, Gargos goes down.
Shadows him.
Shadow. That's my Gargos.
So I'm gonna go ahead and whack on that wall with Mick the Tusk. I've got a bunch of dice for this. It's nice. I like Mick. He's actually great in Mugglug's deck in particular because Mugglug's walls all tend to be right next to one another, and so Mick just takes big advantage of this sea of Vine Walls.
So yeah, that wall's still holding on for dear life.
Yep. And then I'm going to attack the other one with Mugglug, because why not?
Yeah.
I wailed on those walls.
Yeah, so my wall's taking quite a pounding that turn. Youch, that's what the wall said. Yeah.
We'll see what you get here to use against me.
So yeah, this isn't looking particularly gravy right now.
Gravy.
But we'll see what I can do. If I show you guys my hand, you might also be able to see what I can do. So,
there were definitely a couple turns this game where we missed that. We're just really bad at that sometimes. I'm sorry, guys. That's something that we keep saying we'll get better at, and we've gotten a lot better than we did initially. I know that's true, but
yeah, I don't know. Sometimes there's steps forward, sometimes there's steps backwards. So yeah, definitely try and keep that in mind in the future. But
yeah, so Matt's making the play he needs to make. He doesn't have enough for the Hydrake yet, so that's not coming out, thank goodness. but he's got to take care of something because he can't move forward particularly into my territory because he'll just get trapped and Selundar won't be able to get out. He's got to move backwards, but he can't move backwards too far because if he gives up too much ground, then I'll just chase him down and corner him. His walls aren't looking too great, so he's got to make a move quickly here. So yeah, he's going with a shadow.
So here's a shadow and another shadow. So summon the knight.
Summon the knight. There we go. So now Matt has a choice about how this goes. This is a really nice play. He's got 4 to hit 3 on Prong.
Because I can
pull
take
up
those
the shadow.
shadows right back.
And he can see how the rolls go before he decides if he wants to pull up the shadow, which is really cool. So he doesn't have to actually let Selundar attack unless he thinks it's the best move. So this is this is one of the reasons shadows are awesome. One of the many reasons shadows are awesome. And we'll see what he does here. He's rolling with 1. Miss.
So
that's a little rough. So now you have to hit 3 for 3.
Yeah.
You roll with the other shadow here. Hit.
So there's a hit.
So you could go 2 for 2 on Prong. And if you do, you're safe, but you're
Right, so here's
taking a risk.
Right, here's the debate. I'm thinking we haven't seen any ensnares.
Yep.
There's probably an ensnare.
Yep.
But if I don't go 2 for 2, it's the same thing.
Yep.
So it's like, do I consider the possibility he doesn't have an ensnare and leave my shadows there? Or do I just pull him up, assuming there's an ensnare, and go for the 2 for 2?
Yeah.
And treat the whole situation as if I should get it since I had 4 for 3. is how I'm thinking.
He does go ahead and go for the 2 for 2 opportunity. If he missed it, which he doesn't, he would have been in some trouble. But it's really good that he went for it because I did have ensnare.
Yeah, so that would have been... So I pulled the other one back because I can still do that anytime on my turn. So
my heart was pounding that whole turn. I really wanted you to leave him there. I really wanted you to hope that my ensnares, I'd either dropped him into magic or hadn't pulled him yet. But I pulled one of my ensnares up. I had it in my hand. So that was definitely the play I was going for. I was really hoping for, but it didn't go that way.
I'm discarding like a maniac because my walls are in jeopardy.
Yep.
And I have a guaranteed summon point right now.
Yep.
And nearly guaranteed that wall's not going to die this turn. So
Swamp Rat, Shaman, Ensnare, something else. Glarg, I think. So, yeah, I definitely don't have enough magic or units in my hand to actually kill his
my less weak wall.
His less weak wall is and part of that is just because I can't move Mugglug to the other side of it because of Summon the Night. So I just can't generate the dice on it that I need. If I was able to move Mick the Tusk and Mugglug around, I actually probably could take his wall this turn. I'd have reason. I don't know about should. No, I think I should. I think I'd have 6 to hit 5 or 4. I mean 6 to hit 4, but I can't because Summon the Night, so it's a moot point.
Yeah.
I just can't get more than 3 dice on that wall this turn.
Plus, I mean, if Mugglug could, he would just hit Selundar instead.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's just true. So I've got to figure out exactly where I want this game to go. Muglug's a little open now. I did kill Gargos, and I do have a champion on the board. So right now I'm thinking my board position is technically better. I've got less wounds on my summoner and everything, but I know that he's got 8 magic, so I know what's coming.
Yeah,
I know what's about to happen. I know that Hydrake versus Mick the Tusk, unless he really engages me on my territory, which he has no particular reason to do, I can't win that fight.
Yep.
So even on my own territory, it's questionable whether or not I win that fight. I'd have to have a lot of vine walls around me, and you can definitely kill those off. So I'm going to go ahead and try for the wall with the Swamp Rat. I got it.
Yep, so down goes my wall.
And that gives me the ability to move the Swamp Rat next to a wall I control by putting a wound on it. A vine wall I control by putting a wound on it. So now Mugglug...
It's any wall. I mean...
Oh, is it? Okay, it's any wall. Mugglug is safe is the big thing here. I found a way to summon something and move it in front of Mugglug while keeping Mick in the middle of all those vine walls.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So that's reasonable. And then if he kills the swamp rat, he creates another vine wall, which isn't a terrible thing for me.
Yeah. I was gonna say I could like into darkness the swamp rat, but I can't if I summon something.
Yeah.
So that's,
Yeah, so I don't. If you into darkness it, then I don't have to worry about the Hydrake for a turn, and that's fine.
yeah.
That'd be okay. And if
I
you
could into darkness stalking advance and go 4 for 4 on Mugglug.
that's possible.
yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the thing too. If you're wasting an into darkness on one 0-cost unit, then
Sometimes.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, if you really thought that was your only shot at the game to go 4 for 4, that is an option.
But I actually think, I'm not considering that right now because I think I'm in a reasonable position here.
Yeah, because you have the chance to get the Hydrake out, I think that's definitely a better play.
So I do have Stalking Advance, a Shadow, the Child.
The Child.
Ayo.
Both of us packed 2 of our Alliance champs in our decks, and it was worth it. It was worth it to use those Alliance champs.
Oh, yeah, so Gargos in particular, I think, just really helps out Selundar. Not like he even really needed help. I feel like Selundar is pretty good.
He's fine, yeah. But Gargos does give him some extra options without making Selundar too crazy powerful. He just, it gives him some more ability to hit his opponent hard on his terms.
Yep.
He can run up and hit someone with Summon the Night and then run away and not be hit by that same person because he can move 2 spaces away from them. So he has some nice plays you can make with Gargos. The Hydrake is obviously just crazy good.
Oh yeah.
I went with a relatively low champion cost. That was something I commonly like getting out a Savager or something mid game if I can with the Swamp Orcs. So I like keeping my champion cost lower with them if I'm able. Especially they've got some nice big high cost champions like Splub that are great. But it kind of means you don't get to play your commons very often. And the commons are what really build those walls. Your own commons dying and killing your opponent's commons creates the swamp.
Yep.
So I like to play with a low champ cost when I can.
So I did. I got that swamp rat. Yep. That's just a fine wall now. I did make a little bit of an oversight here. I wasn't thinking. I got a bit careless and excited that the Hydrake came out, that I wasn't paying any attention to that vine wall adjacent to my wall, my full health wall. Which can just be summoned and something can move up and just attack me.
Yep, there are no more Summon the Nights now.
so that was just a careless move.
Yeah, you could
with Selundar.
Could move Selundar in a slightly different position and maybe he would have been a little safer. But you moved him away from my real wall in the foreground of the battlefield. But yeah, in the background there, I've got a little vine wall. When I'm going to summon something, I'm going to summon Glarg.
So
here's my chance to go 2 for 2.
Yeah, so Glarg's out now. Thank goodness there's no more vine growths because that could have just been a 3 for 2 opportunity. So darn. So here's here's a.
If I'd had an ambush, it could have been a 4 for 2.
Yeah, with vine growth.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. That's so here we go. I do get my 2 for 2 though on him. I know I'm setting myself up so the Hydrake can hit both Mick and Glarg, which really is my whole end game force. You can see my deck is gone, unlike Mask. So I went 1 for 2.
So there we go, 1 for 2. I'm still alive.
But all I've got left really is Mugglug, who's hurt, and 2 champions. So the champions, I have to keep them alive if I can. And all I have to do is get 1 hit left on Selundar.
Oh yeah, so here was.
This is interesting.
Yeah.
I rolled the wrong number of dice, so then we decided should I roll all the dice again or just the one I missed? And normally our rule has been re-roll everything, but we hadn't had that problem in so long we couldn't remember it exactly at the time. I re-rolled everything and got all 4 hits, and I felt really sleazy about that. So this time I changed it back to only having one of the 3, and I decided to re-roll just the 1 die I didn't roll on my turn. Yeah, I got 2 at it. So from now on, so we've set it in front of you guys, we're just going to re-roll all the dice anytime we misroll something, because it's not as if that's more fair than re-rolling only 1 die. It's just that I think you just need a consistent rule. for when that comes up. As long as you have a consistent way of moderating that or mediating that situation, it's fair. There's no bias in re-rolling as long as you aren't re-rolling based on what you rolled.
Right.
So from now on, I think we're not going to do it the way we did in this video. We're just going to re-roll everything. That'll just be our easy fix rule.
Yeah.
But I'm glad we did it this way this time because I wasn't positive in the moment and I felt weird about getting 4 out of 4 on something I wasn't positive about.
Right. Yeah, no, that's... And I prefer the 2 wounds as opposed to 4.
Yeah, Matt's a little happier about that. This game was played only a couple days, I think, after the one with Endrick and Merrick, where I killed his champions rather quickly. And I think that thought was still in his mind. It stung a little. So I don't think he wanted to lose his 8 health Hydrake with...
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have lost him, but
No.
it would have been instantly down to half health and
Yeah.
killable by the next turn. So.
I don't think he wanted to relive that scenario. Because if you lose the Hydrake here, you're pretty much toast. That's... I know you have the chance to come back because you still have the child in your hand, which I don't know about at this time. I know you still have a champion left because you haven't dropped into Magic, I'm sure, at this point. If the only time you could have dropped it into Magic was to pay for the Hydrake, and I can see what you paid for the Hydrake, and I know it wasn't champion, so
Right.
you wouldn't throw a champion away at this stage of the game. I don't have any Magic, so yeah, these champions matter to me. I gotta make them last because otherwise I'm out there swinging with just Mugglug and maybe a Swamp Rat or a Shaman or something.
Yeah.
I have like a common or 2 left in my hand, but that's it.
Right, exactly. So I'm okay because I can assault both of those champions with the Hydrake. As long as I can get rid of Glarg on my tail, on Selundar's tail, then I'm going to be okay. And I have to play under the assumption at this point that he doesn't have another Swamp Rat or some kind of 0-cost unit.
Yep. Yeah, because there was no way to get out of that didn't involve the possibility of a 0-cost hitting you.
Right.
There's just nothing you can do. There's nowhere you can move that Glarg can't hit you.
Now you'll note what I could have done was summon a shadow and block for a turn.
Yeah.
I did not want to do that because I felt like I needed the shadow in the end game if what I was thinking came to fruition to have the advantage.
So you're taking a calculated risk here.
Yeah.
Because you'll have a better shot at the end game this way than the other way.
Exactly. And unfortunately, I did not get what I wanted on Glarg.
Yeah.
He's the one I care more about killing.
Yeah. Then I didn't have a Swamp Rat, unfortunately for me, in my hand. That's just not the card I had. I believe I have Ensnare and a Shaman, and that might be all. That might be all I have. And so I'm waiting on that Ensnare opportunity where he drops down a shadow or something and tries to block with it. And if he had done that, and he expected Glarg to not be able to hit him because there's a shadow in the way, I would have still been able to hit him.
Right, that's true.
Because I'm holding that Ensnare. So what he did was great. If I'd had a Swamp Rat or some kind of 0-cost, I still had a shot at him, but I didn't. So it's kind of moot.
Right.
I did get a nice whack there on the Hydrake. I moved Glarg away so I could hit his wall with Mugglug and Glarg, which means he can't hit 2 of my units at one time with Hydrake.
Yep.
So he just summoned the child, so he can hit them with 2 units elsewhere.
Yep. So now I'm the idea here is to have the Hydrake chase Glarg, and the child try and finish off Mick the Tusk. Because Glarg has no way of killing the Hydrake. He doesn't have enough die.
No. Not this turn, anyway.
Right. I mean, you don't have a Vine Growth, so you can't get him there.
No, yeah, no. I mean, that's what I mean. Not this turn, but if they battled to the death, it's possible I could still win it, but it would.
Right, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was
one
that was another one on Glarg.
Yeah.
So I'm not quite getting the Glarg kill I'm hoping for here, but
whacking on Mick there a little bit to chipping away at him. You got him into a kill zone now, so you could kill Mick the Tusk. Mick the Tusk has done his job for me. He's gotten some nice. He's taken a few hits that Mugglug would have had to take if I hadn't summoned him, and then He's doled out his fair share of wounds, 5 there on the Hydrake, and he's gonna take a shot here on the child. I'm thinking about it for a little bit before I decide to actually go for it. Yeah, there we go. And he hits 3 on the child, so that's a nice 8 wounds he's been able to do all out this game, and he's taken his lumps too. So I feel like I've got my use out of Mick for 5 cost. He demolished a wall too, almost entirely by himself.
Yep. So there's another wound on the Drake.
So unfortunately, the Drake is. I'd have to go 2 for 2 on it if I wanted to kill it.
Now the Drake is killable,
but not easily.
Right.
Not easily killable, which is what I was hoping. I was hoping he'd have 1 wound. That would have been ideal. So alright, so the child is in pretty killable range too, with Mugglug, even if I need to use him. So this isn't the worst place I could be in for that.
So in my hand, I have a shadow. And that shadow is key for me in the end game, because once I kill Mick the Tusk and Glarg, I'll have 2 turns of that shadow being able to summon, attack, and then be pulled back to my hand with the 2 magic. And if I generate any more, I could bring the child back, generate a magic out of him. Who knows what else I could kill in that time, maybe 1 more magic. It's possible I have 4 separate plays with that shadow on Mugglug in the end game, which is key for me and how I'm calculating everything remaining.
This assumes, of course, that you are able to keep your walls.
Right.
Which is likely that I can't kill that bottom wall without exposing Mugglug to being hit by a champion.
Right.
Like the Hydrake, maybe.
Yeah, well, the Hydrake in this scenario is alive because we kill Glarg.
Yeah, this is the move. You're going to try to kill Glarg, 7 to hit 4, which is good. Try to kill Mick,
the child. So I'm thinking what's probably likely is, because Evan discarded that 1 magic, that he has potentially a unit with 1 attack value that can come out for that 1 magic and attack Selundar. But because the Hydrake didn't get Glarg down enough, I need Glarg to die this turn in order to survive the end game. I'm thinking as long as I survive this next turn, I have very good chance of winning this game.
Yeah.
So I've done 2 to Glarg.
Yep. So now he has 4 to hit 2. So that's pretty good on Glarg. And then if Mick doesn't die this turn, you got him. Yeah, slaughtered him there. If Mick doesn't die this turn, then I'll probably kill the child with Mick, but then he'll be able to retaliate. But he did. He killed Mick too.
So I got Mick, which was so that's good. That's 2 magic. So I have 2 turns with the shadow as of now.
So I do have a unit with 1 attack. I wish it was a Conjurer. I had a couple of those in this deck, but only like 2 or something, or maybe even 1. You'll see in the deck list below in the description. But now I have my Shaman, my 1 chance at really winning the game for sure.
Yep, and there it was.
So you got to see the challenge there between the challenger being Selundar and the reigning champ being Mugglug ended up being a 1 die roll to kind of decide the end game.
Yeah, which is kind of how it should be anyway. Yeah. So I feel like that was
they're super balanced feeling, the 2 of them. I don't see one of them having a clear advantage over the other.
I didn't get to necessarily go crazy with an offensive because of the vine walls. I just had to think about the game differently with that deck than I would normally.
Yeah, he couldn't just throw everything at my face. He had to kind of play back a little bit, but it was so close. So anyway, thanks everybody for watching.
Enjoyed that one.
We'll see you next time.
Yep, SummoNerds out.